Hi, welcome back, and we're having a look today at Automobilista 2. As we've got two things I want to cover on Automobilista 2. The first of which is that the new release candidate has come out, taking it to version 1.3.8, and that's brought a lot of good stuff with it. But also, we've just had to drop the June Developers Diary, talking about what's going to be coming in Automobilista 2 in July and beyond. So I definitely want to talk about that as well, because there's some really good, exciting stuff coming in that. So it'll be really good to see what we've got there. But let's start first of all with release candidate version 1.3.8. So for anybody who's not aware, the release candidate is basically a beta of the upcoming full update for AMS2. And if you want to take advantage of this, all you need to do is go to the game page on Steam and go and set up access to the beta candidate. It's very straightforward to do, and once you've done that, you will then get the current release candidate downloaded to you, which gives you a sneak peek of upcoming changes. You do have to keep in mind that it won't always be 100% bug free, and if you do find something, go onto the Razer forums and let them know what you found so that they can tweak it for the full rollout. If you're not comfortable doing that, consider this a heads up, a kind of tease of what you're going to get within the next week or so coming to Automobilista 2. So first of all, we've got 3 new tracks in Automobilista 2. This is the Argentinian track pack, and this is completely free and brings us 3 tracks. So Buenos Aires, Cordoba and Termas Rio Hondo. Now, these are all really good tracks, being perfectly honest. A couple of these were in the original Automobilista, so AMS1, that's Buenos Aires and Cordoba, and Termas is a track that's brand new to Automobilista as a series, full stop. The important thing is there was, apparently according to their notes, and I'll link to all of this down below, just plan to upgrade the Buenos Aires and Cordoba track to AMS2, just basically tart up the original AMS models. But the team found fresh LiDAR data and didn't, as a result, settle doing things halfway, and basically have redone all of these tracks from the ground up, and it really shows they're absolutely excellent. They're really nice tracks to race on. Buenos Aires in particular has a huge number of different layouts for it. Cordoba and Termas only has one each, but I get the feeling that we're probably going to get more layouts coming for those in the future. But this just once again increases the sheer diversity of content that's within Automobilista 2, and more importantly, diverse stuff that you don't find anywhere else. The South American tracks are woefully underrepresented outside of Razer titles, and where people have then taken that and created mod content or created mod content from scratch for other titles, namely Assetto Corsa. So it's really good to see this. They've also carried on the physics development work to an even wider range of cars. So what we've now got with the physics tweaks and updates and revisions, this now includes Group A, the BMW M1 Pro Car, Sprint Race, F Retro Gen 3, Metal Moro MX, and that's all models of that, the Rocco 001, MCR Sport 2000, Opel 86, Amiga 99, Copper Classic B and FL, the Mini John Cooper Works UK, Caterham Academy, F3, F-Trainer, both models of that, and Formula V have all now had the extensive physics revisions. So gradually over the last few months and the last few releases, they've been applying these physics updates to more and more cars within the title, and being perfectly honest, the moment you drive one of them, after that it really is quite clear the work that they've done. Now, I've only managed to spend a reasonable amount of time with 3 cars within this group so far. One of the F Retro Gen 3s, the Caterham Academy, and the M1 Pro Car. And they are all absolutely fabulous now, they really are. The standout one for me personally was the M1 Pro Car. It's just absolutely wonderful to drive. You can feel the mass in it and the yaw working really actively around some of the the corners. You can really lean on the car and you can feel exactly what it's doing, and it just feels right and connected, which is really good to see. And the other standout was the Caterham Academy, because it's a low-powered car, so you're not going to be hitting huge, colossal top speeds in this. But what it does give you is just a ludicrous amount of throttle adjustability because of the torque and the lightweight of the car and the way it's laid out. And I've driven Caterhams of this kind of spec, and it really is a great representation of it. So the physics work that they've done, along with the new tracks in this release candidate, really, really, really good stuff. And on top of that, there's a whole host of other fixes that they put in place, changes to the UI and HUD to tweak that, some work on LSD models within there, tyre tread adjustments for a whole range of cars, revisions to the tread and carcass heat conductivity. It's a huge list, and more tweaks to the force feedback as well. So again, I'm going to link to the full change notes down below because they are absolutely massive, and this is the kind of thing that it's really good to see titles putting out there. So that's what we've got in the release candidate, so version 1.3.8. but as I say, what they've also put out is the June developers roundup. Now it talks about everything that I've just talked about, but also then goes in to say that they are looking to completely finish all of this physics development work across all of the cars by the end of July. And that the article goes into some of the history around this, the transference over from the P-motor based engines that they used in AMS1 over to the Madness engine, and how they combined elements of both of those to give us what we have now, and how they've constantly been working on that. And there were two big updates back in 2021, V1.2 and V1.3, and it was 1.3 that really kickstarted a lot of the changes in the physics that got people to set up and pay attention to AMS2 from a physics perspective. And they really have uncorked the true potential of the Madness engine and everything that underlines it here, which I must say personally for me is a bit of indication, because I've always been a fan of the Madness engine. Yes, previous implementations of it have not been that final bit of fidelity wasn't there, and some cars behaved very oddly in it. But underneath it, there's a solid engine there. There really is, with a really good driveline and a really good tyre model in it. And the team at Razor have taken that and they've run with it, and they have really worked hard on that to basically push everything through. So they're looking to finish all of that off, all of the work on the tyre, all of that by the end of July, to release V1.4, which they will say will mark the point where they consider AMS2's physics to have finally reached a state of maturity that allows further developments to flow in a more gradual manner, which is really good to see, because basically that means they are looking at finishing this big physics revision by the end of July. We'll then get that, and they'll then have, from August onwards, further physics developments will be a bit more spaced apart in their milestones, because they'll have got everything up to a really good standard. There is also, and it will be in one of the links I post below, a really good discussion with some of the dev team at Razor around physics and everything that's going on there. But then we've also got news that Razor are working on an advanced damage model for AMS2, which will cover the driveline, tyre, suspension and the bodywork on there. So previous builds have already done some fairly good job on gearbox and clutch damage models around poorly timed gear shift, bad use of the clutch, those kind of things, and particularly with older models. But they're also upping that, so in preparation for oval racing, which again we're getting some of that soon, hopefully in the latter half of the year, they're looking at heating, cooling and the wear cycle, not just for players but also from the AI's perspective, so that if you are running high boost, if you're constantly hammering out the rev limiter, which is more likely in oval racing, it is going to damage the engine. It's going to reduce its cooling effectiveness, which is then going to further damage the engine, and also look at how cooling works in dirty air and things like that, which will be really good. And in parallel to that mechanical damage, they're also working on bodywork damage models, so to go beyond just scratches and broken headlights, to bent suspension, dangling bodywork components, crumpled bonnets, hoods for those of you in America, and things like that, and also playing around with the damage to the tyre, so tyre wear rates, flat spots, graining as well, so a lot more is going to be going on within that damage model. And to further increase that, they're then also going to add in gameplay elements such as limited tyre sets, so where you have to, over a race weekend, manage the number of tyres you've got and how you use them, and potentially delays caused by crashing or damaging your vehicle, missing out in qualifying or a race heat and things like that. So further consequences off of the back of that, and it'll be interesting to see how far they go with that, because there's a lot of good stuff in there. And then AI development will be tweaked. Now, I actually think the AI within AMS2 is pretty good as it stands at the moment, but again, once they get past 1.4 into 1.4, they're looking at making further changes around the physics and the AI's use of the physics to better balance that and allow everybody to have a consistent challenge corner to corner, more importantly track to track, because that's where most AI systems tend to fall down in most titles, and if they can do that, it is a bit of a holy grail. A lot of titles, you know, you set your AI rate for one track and car combo and it's great, you swap to another track or track and car combo and all of a sudden it's a complete mess. You're either nowhere near them or you're so far ahead of them it's ridiculous. So if they can get that balance right, and only time will tell, but that will be really good if they do. They're also playing around with things around vehicle liveries, audio developments, multiplayer, etc. So there's a whole load of stuff coming. And as I'm recording this, which is the 1st of July, you've still got another week because it's running until the 7th of July with the Steam Summer Sale. And all Razer titles and DLCs, including all of the AMS2 stuff, is currently up to 75% off. So if watching this video has made you think, I've never tried AMS2, I think I might give that a go, but you know, I didn't want to pay full whack for it, which is understandable, you can now get some significant savings on there. And there's, in all honesty, I don't think there's ever been a better time to dip your toes into the world of AMS2. You know, it's on sale at the moment, not just the core game, all of the DLC as well, and this latest release candidate and the future news of what we've got coming in it really do point to something quite stunning. And what I don't want to happen with AMS2 is that it kind of turns into another Project Cars 2, which is, it's got a huge amount of potential, but it just didn't get the buy-in from the sim racing community that it arguably deserved. And I always felt that was the case with Project Cars 2, but I'm even more of that opinion with AMS2. This, along with the likes of, say, Race Room, are great titles with really solid physics modelling, really good force feedback, a really good collection of tracks and cars for you to play around with, but it just doesn't get the love that it deserves. So that's my view on this release candidate, what we've got coming up for AMS2 and AMS2 in general. If you've liked this video, please do hit the like button, and if you want to see more content like this, please do subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to be notified when new content gets uploaded. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. Bye.